Hi, I'm Christina Siwek, and I am with Windermere Real Estate here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm also excited to announce that I am now back with you in Washington State. And my promise to you now going forward is that you will get me in both states. So I needed to get time to get my footing here in Arizona. I know that I have that now. So if you need me and you'd like to work with me as your real estate agent, I will be there personally for you on the ground in Washington as well. And I'm not moving from Arizona, so I will be here for you as well in Arizona. All right, let's jump into this. It has been a bit interesting out there. Rates have definitely gone higher than I thought that they would be at this time in August. And I think a lot of experts thought as we headed towards fall, interest rates would be coming down. They aren't showing any signs of doing that. So I think it's more important now than ever when you're looking at buying a home to get pre-approved before you start the process so you can see what's that comfortable rate that you can afford. We'll also talk about this a little bit more, but we're going to talk today about mortgage rates, where they are today, questions to ask when buying a home, guide to seller paid mortgage buy downs and closing costs, seller concessions, what that means, buy down program that we have with North Point Bank, new construction incentives, what those are, the value of using an agent with new construction homes, and don't expect a wave of foreclosures at least anytime soon that we can foresee. And I want to take a moment to really make it clear. On this channel, we've discussed buying a home that you feel comfortable with and getting into a different rate later. Never have we meant to buy a house and hopefully get a lower rate later when interest rates come down. What we have meant is that there's 3-2-1 buy down programs that we're going to touch on today that eases you into home ownership. And so that's just really so important to understand the differentiation of that with. And so you can understand with what we're saying, and I'll be more clear as we go forward. And I am sorry if I've ever given a different impression of that. So let's jump into it now with mortgage rates and where they are. All right, so mortgage rates climb as U.S. yield hits highest levels since 2008. Okay, the economy continues to do better than expected, and the 10-year Treasury yield has moved up, causing mortgage rates to climb. Sam Cater, Freddie Mac's chief economist, said in a statement. The last time the 30-year fixed rate mortgage exceeded 7% was last November, and I remember that very clearly, and I'm sure my lovely sellers that were on the market during that time remember that very well as well. Okay. So as a country, we are issuing a lot of debt to finance our deficit. In the short term, the bond buyers aren't at the prices. The, the bond buyers aren't at the prices. So yields went up after a bad auction last week. Logan Matsushima said, Housing Wire's lead analyst. Also, the economy is much stronger than anyone thought, so rates are staying up longer too. Bond buyers are mindful of this. Matsushima said that the US economy will be in an environment where it doesn't have a lot of bond buyers versus supply coming in, thus making it harder for mortgage rates to go lower. Okay. Now, buyers, given that information, do you think that you should buy now? So what are some things basically that you should think about when you're buying a home? You should think about how long you want to be there. We're also going to talk about over the course of the last 4 decades, how home price appreciation has risen from the start of the decade to the end of the decade. But you should think about where prices are headed. Now, I think instead of having a market crash in 2022, we had a market correction. And I believe that we've hit the bottom of that. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know anybody that does. I would love one. But anyway, so according to the latest release, experts surveyed, they predict, this was written back in June, I think. So they projected slight depreciation this year. I think they were correct, but here's the context that you need to know the most. The worst of the home price declines are already behind us, and prices are actually appreciating in many markets. So here's this graph that shows that. And I can link this below to the YouTube, to my YouTube channels in my comment section. So you'll be able to get links to these, or you can just reach out to me and I'll give them to you as well. Okay. And the next important piece is, where do you think mortgage rates are headed? All right. And here's kind of where where Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors. This is where the average of all three thought that we would be. And this was back in June. And I think some still say by the end of Q4, we could be down into these percentages. I don't think so. I think we may be heading up, and some buyers are already getting quoted to 8. So just something to watch. So 3 key points. If you buy now and mortgage rates don't change, you made a good move because home prices are projected to go with time. So at least you beat the rising rates. If you buy now and mortgage rates fall as projected, you probably still made a good decision because you got the house before home prices appreciated more. And you can always refinance out of your home later if rates go lower. Again, we stress the if here, if rates go lower. Okay, if you buy now and mortgage rates rise, if this happens, you made a great decision because you bought before both the price of the home and the mortgage rates went up. We've talked about this. Mortgage rates start to come down. A lot of the buyers that have been on the fence are going to jump into the market. And that's just the case of supply and demand at that point. So here's the mortgage calculator from Bankrate. It's very simple. I like it. Of course, there's more detail that goes into this, but this is a very high level overview. So let's say you have a home price is $500,000. You put 20% down. You do not have to put 20% down. There's many other loan programs out there that I'd be happy to talk to you about if you want to shoot me a message. But let's just say this is back in, let's say 2021. You had a 3% mortgage rate, like in spring of 21. Your mortgage payment on a $500,000 house was $2,081. Now today, let's just say you would, that would be great, but that's not right. Okay, 7.37. You would be at $3,156 as your mortgage payment. So that's a very big difference. Here's where we talk about, this is from our friends over at BAM off of the hot sheet. They are live every day. The market's open. Byron and Zine, they're fantastic. Go ahead and go to YouTube, follow them. This is talking about home price growth months into the decade. So we can see even in 2000, we all know about 2008, right? So even the start of 2000 and the end, it still ended at an appreciation. So I just think that's so important. We're sitting here at 2023, and I think by the time we end the decade, we will have appreciated considerably. So it's all about jumping in when you can, when you feel comfortable with it, and building that equity through home ownership. So this is just, I think that's a good chart. I can link that as well. And then something that we talked about is seller paid mortgage rate buy downs and how they work. Okay, so seller paid rate buy down is when the seller offers concession that reduce the buyer's mortgage interest rate, either for the duration of a loan or just for the first few years. This can happen in one or two ways. The seller contributes to the buyer closing costs, or the seller pays for a temporary rate buy down. With a permanent rate buy down, the seller pays a portion of the buyer's closing costs that are used toward mortgage discount points. Each point reduces the rate by about 0.25 percentage point, depending on the lender, and it costs about 1% of the loan amount. So if you buy a $500,000 home with a 20% down payment, your mortgage amount would be $400,000, and each point would cost you $4,000. And I'll link this below, but you can see kind of how that brings down your payment. Okay, a lender that we like to use, and we can give you their information, is Brad Toff and his team over at North Point Bank. Now, there are many, there's criteria to this home, this buy down option. So make sure to reach out to Brad, or I can give you Brad's contact information. He can tell you the specifics of it, but this is what we speak about to ease into home ownership. So with North Point's temporary buy down option, your interest rate may be bought down for up to the first 3 years of the loan, reducing your initial monthly payments. The rate buy down may be borrower paid, seller paid, or gifted. Options available for conventional conforming and high balance loan programs only. Okay. And then this is in Phoenix. We'll start to talk more about Washington, but for right now, we're just going to consistently talk about Phoenix at the more micro level. So in the Phoenix market right now, as of August 13th, the median concession for seller paid closing costs were $7,490. So you can see that you could, sellers are paying a concession, and you can kind of start to see what you could use them for. Another big part of the market is new construction. That's what's leading our market right now and where a lot of buyers are going. So maybe you're a seller and you have a situation where you need to sell your house. Use that homeowner equity that you may have, sell the home, maybe you can consolidate some of your other debts, and then you can go over to new construction. And right now, new construction, I don't know how much longer this is going to last for, but currently I know we just got a buyer in on the Teller Morrison Homes in Surprise, and they're offering a 30 fixed rate at 5.49%. Okay, so that's different, obviously, than what's available more on the open market. And then also William Ryan, you can lock in the lowest interest rate today. So you can lock in, let's say 7.37% today if you qualify for that. And there's many things that go into qualifying for your interest rate. Make sure to talk to your preferred lender, or we're happy to provide you with contact names of lenders that we know and like here. So that's something for William Ryan. And then also Richmond Homes, and this varies state by state, community by community, I believe. Says funds are available on a limited first time, first served basis. So as of right now, 4.750%, 5.47% APR financing available, and that's Richmond American Homes. So that's why the new construction homes are really moving right now. Again, I don't know how much I've heard that they've started to ease up a little bit on those offerings. So, make sure to talk to your agent that you know, like, and trust today. And of course, we are here for you too. I'm here for you. Just email me anytime at siwek@windermere.com, or make a comment on my channel, and I'll make sure to get back to you. Okay, Cromford Report. We love the Cromford Report here. Here's the daily observations as of yesterday. So after 2.5 months of a deteriorating trend, this table is starting to move in the opposite direction again. We have 3 cities that moved in the direction favorable to sellers, up from 2 last week. Gilbert is the latest recruit to go to the green camp. The average CMI change in these 17 cities over the last month was negative 3.3%, less negative than last week when we measured negative 5%. Buckeye is the trending and has taken over Goodyear as predicted. Queen Creek is bouncing back, having been one of the earliest to decline several months ago. Most negative is Fountain Hills, a former superstar and number 1, however, remains strong in a seller's market with a CMI over 200. So when we're looking at these, right, so we are in seller's market, okay? As we start to approach down here, we're in more of a balanced market. All right, so however, it remains a strong seller's market. This is Fountain Hills with a CMI over 200. 15 out of 17 are seller's markets with Maricopa and Creek Creek in a balance zone. We just said that, okay? And then the Mortgage Bankers Association has just reported that the mortgage delinquency rate has fallen to its lowest level since they started tracking this metric in 1980. The seasonally adjusted delinquency rate for 1 to 4 residential properties stood at 3.37% in the second quarter of 2023, down from 3.64% 1 year earlier, and it is also down from 3.56% in Q1 of 2023. The delinquency fell from Q1 of 2023 across all mortgage types, conventional, VA, and FHA. However, FHA loan delinquencies were up 10 basis points from the second quarter of 2022. Holders of FHA loans tend to be the first to weaken when economic going gets rough. Delinquencies are moving up in other loan types. However, they're particularly credit card debt and other car loans because affordability, right? So depending on where you're at right now, employers have called people back to work. They're no longer able to work remotely. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that going forward. However, I am still in this camp that I don't expect a wave of foreclosures coming. Serious delinquencies are on a decline. Percentage of mortgage loans that are 3 monthly payments or past due on a decline. 3 monthly payments or more past due are in the process of foreclosure. So Fannie Mae is blue, Freddie Mac is green. May's overall mortgage delinquency rate matched the all-time low, and serious delinquencies followed suit. Basically, fewer people are seriously behind on mortgage payments right now. If foreclosures were going to rise significantly, more people would need to be late on their payments since most are paying on time. A wave isn't coming. Now, may some properties have this unfortunate thing happen? Yeah, it could happen. But again, it's less likely to happen if you really analyze your monthly payment, your monthly mortgage payment. And I would aim towards the lower side of that. I wouldn't say buy towards the highest that you're qualified for either. Okay. Cut that out. We're running a little over here. So the Cromford Index, we still are in a seller's market. Our demand is at 7.74% and our supply is at 4.83%. So just those sheer numbers equate to that we are still having a supply problem. We're about 1.6%, I think, of months of inventory on the market here in the greater Phoenix, Maricopa County area. As always, if you have any real estate questions, I am here for you. Siwek@windermere.com. You can text me at 602-402-2162 or 425-628-9696 at any time. And I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. All right. Well, I think that is it for today. And I will be back in a couple days with some more information. Take care.